Yeah, of
We're
course.
just chatting. Hey, introduce yourself.
Tell you when. Are we
Yeah, we're
now?
recording.
Oh, I'm Earl McIntosh. I do the property tax petition here in Topeka to require the city to require a public vote before they raise our property taxes. So,
I think that's good. And so we're going to go live on Facebook. I'm just
okay.
chatting with the group before, while we're saying hey. So, well, let's see.
All right, that looks like it might work.
Does that work? Can it work?
Yep, I could scoot in a little bit here.
All
There we
right. Henry McClure live here with Earl McIntosh. Hey, real quick. Tell me real quick about your experience as a Marine.
go. I went into the Marine Corps in 1984, right out of high school. I was born and raised in Iola, Kansas, but I've been in Topeka over 30 years. And I spent 4 years active duty, and I came back, and then I stayed in the active reserves for 17 years, and I retired. And I don't know when that is.
Were at Camp Lejeune, were you?
No, I was went to boot camp to San Diego and stationed at Camp Pendleton.
Okay. So I used to live in L.A.
Oh, okay, yeah, LA is just north. It's in between San Diego and LA.
Well, I spent a lot of time down in Oceanside with Mace at the
Yeah,
track.
that's all. Only anybody who lives in Oceanside are Marines.
Seaward by the Sea
Yes,
at Del Mar.
Del Mar, absolutely.
Did you ever go?
To
The
Del
track.
the track. No.
Okay.
What do you mean the track?
The horse track.
Oh, no, never did.
No?
I know there was a Del Mar part of Camp Pendleton that's on the ocean. That's what I thought you meant. So it's called Del Mar, Camp Del Mar.
So thank you for your service. I
you bet.
appreciate that. So what brought you to Topeka?
So I graduated. My wife and I both are Pittsburgh State graduates.
Okay.
And I just want to plug that we love Washburn University. I sponsored their football team for 20 years. So I think over 20. I've lost track. But so I'm very proud of that. I love Washburn University. But
Yeah, I love Jerry Farley.
yeah,
He's a good guy. I don't know why the paper was picking on him the other day.
yeah. I mean, I didn't see that, but yeah, I don't know. He's always done good. But no, I came to Topeka. Started off with the American Legion.
Oh.
And so I was.
So that Harry Comrie stuff was kind of cool.
Yeah, I knew a little bit about it when you showed me. But
I'm always bragging that I knew Harry Comrie.
yeah, he's a legend. I mean, he wrote the GI Bill. So I mean, every veteran that's used the GI Bill since World War One, right, or World War Two. Yeah. Well, I knew he was in World War One. That's the only reason I say that, Harry Coleman. And then during World War Two, I guess that's when he wrote the GI Bill.
So he was actually a guy that he had an apartment in the Willard, and if you want, we can start over. But
No, we don't start. Let's keep going.
okay, great. Because we are here to talk about something important. But I love interested is interesting. I love people, and I love the military.
Right. Now, I've been an American Family agent for over 26 years here. Now,
okay.
That has nothing to do with my petition at all.
Oh, I got it.
But that's what I do, and that's one of the reasons that talking with property owners for seeing it for 26 years.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
Americans.
Yeah, and what our property taxes? Yeah, and what's happened to them is devastating. I mean, I have people in my office that have to either go backwards or they have to leave homeownership altogether because they can't afford it with their taxes and the associated cost of living. It's terrible.
Well, see, my whole foundation of me running for county commissioner.
Yeah, you bet.
Is that the whole idea of the economic development money was to grow the tax base.
Right.
And if we haven't done that, let's just pivot. Let's not pick on them, but we shouldn't be spending $3.5 million in overhead if what we set out to do isn't working.
Right.
To me, it's like sending money to Ukraine. I just don't think it's a good investment.
Oh, I'm totally against sending anything to Ukraine.
I'm telling you,
it's a money pit. We could give health care to every single person in the United States. We could pay everybody's college.
And really, where is that money going?
Right.
Not accounted for.
Oh no, it's coming back to our politicians. It's coming back to other people around the world. It doesn't get to where it was intended to go. There's no accountability at all.
Okay, so I was telling you a little bit about being in the mall business and Lou Fally and all that,
Sure,
right?
yeah. Mr.
Oh,
Falley's a legend. He's a wonderful person from Topeka. Everybody should learn about Mr. Falley.
well, so he leaned over. I think we were having the grand opening of Gordman's or whatever, maybe Richmond Gordman back at the time. And he leaned over to Mace and Dana and said, "Hey, I want to open up this chain called Food for Less. You guys know more about real estate. Why don't I sell you White Lakes Mall?" Well, Dana Kay was married to a Falley, Mel Falley's daughter, Sue. And so, and the Falleys all worked together. So we ended up being the second owner of White Lakes. And that was the first mall we ever bought. So fast forward, why is it relevant? Because we own half of Macerich, and meaning I'm a stockholder, small.
Mm-hmm.
But we own half of Country Club Plaza with Alfred Todman. And Todman is one of the best high-end mall developers ever. And we were kind of your middle of the road guys. We would go to smaller markets, college towns, buy malls from the first owners and renovate them. So we were recyclers in the day. And Mace always said regional malls will be successful. You're just going to have to recycle them into something, because Mace foresaw what was going to happen to retail.
Sure.
Because it's cyclical.
Of course. Everything is.
Everything's cyclical. So the point is, real estate taxes in the Country Club Plaza are $44 a square foot.
Well, see, in our petition, I'm going to read specifically from it. It says the city of Topeka hereby establishes that the annual increase in revenue from property taxes on private property, commercial, and agricultural properties shall not exceed the revenue neutral rate without obtaining a public vote. So our petition not only covers homes and private residence, it also covers commercial property. And so I want to mention that to you, because you've heard they want to improve the boulevard, right? And so, and I know I'm being funny here, but I
You
don't.
guy's a comedian.
But I don't know if.
And I would like to meet the Bring Back the Boulevard committee.
Yeah, I would too, actually. And I'm serious. If they watching this, contact me. Well, I don't. I don't think they're going to be successful until we get a handle on property taxes. And so my petition not only does residential but commercial. If they have some rate stability from the city of Topeka, they are going to, businesses, especially small businesses, are going to move in, and that will improve it. But right now, everything's in flux. Who would want to invest in the Topeka Boulevard when, if you move in there, your costs will double in a year? It's just
or if you put too much burden on the developer.
Right. Oh, there's all kinds of issues, but it starts with our taxes.
So
property taxes, to be specific.
And so let's look at the Country Club Plaza was the first organized shopping center in America.
Okay.
So the J.C. Nichols Company had a lot of vision.
Uh-huh.
And today you can't afford to be in there because of the real estate tax component.
Right. Absolutely.
And so so this is just, and this is close by. This is going to happen here real quick. It's, is it a revenue problem or is it a spending problem? So we shouldn't be out buying hotels.
Right. And I agree with you on that. I had heard they bought it because companies that bid on it were not good companies. That's what I heard. And I don't know if that's true or not. But
well, there was somebody that said, yeah, but in an auction, you don't really know what's going to happen. Okay, so are you done? You're going to, have we got that read yet? Or did I interrupt you?
Well, no, we're good. I mean, you can interrupt him anytime and we can navigate different things. But I'm here because I have a petition. The heart of it is the city of Topeka cannot raise our property taxes without a public vote. That's what our petition is about.
And so that's perfect, because we've got to get the people engaged in our government. You can't even go into a committee meeting at the city and make public comment. That's wrong.
Now, wait a second. You're saying the city
can't
make public comment even if you pre-register?
Well, no, you can make it.
Like
so you got 4 minutes to change the world. at city council. But they don't have it set up that you can go to a committee meeting and talk. I mean,
You have to be invited, or is there other rules, or you can't talk at all?
well, my name was brought up by a conferee, and I tried to speak up, and I got shouted down, and it just didn't feel friendly. It didn't seem like the America I want to live in. But it's the America that's running our city into the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't testified here, and I do want to follow up on that. People have given up on property taxes for over 20 years. I would go be the only one standing at the Topeka City Council and the Shawnee County Commissioners, telling them that, hey, we're destroying ourselves by the our valuations and across the board increases on top of the valuations, and year after year after year, 5, 10%. I said that all adds up, and it's going to add up to a point where it's going to come to a head, and we're going to have a major problem in Topeka, and we're at that point right
We're
now.
at that point.
Yeah,
we're at the point when if I'm going to hire an interim city manager,
right,
as a businessman, I would have said, Richard, you're a good guy. We got you here. You know more about city managing than the rest of us. So why don't you replace yourself and then you can go home? And that should have been his job, to replace himself.
Okay.
He should have been in charge. We got to quit hiring consultants at every turn.
Right. Oh, no, and I understand that. And one prime example on the consultants is for the homeless. Like I am deeply a homeless. Behind my office, there's 50 homeless people right along the Shunga.
Oh,
My
wow.
office is right above the Shunga. They're back there cooking food every day and sleeping in boxes. I mean, it's a serious issue. But let's talk about the homeless. There's not only the homeless along the Shunga and along the river, but we have the working homeless. So we have thousands of people in Topeka that have to move back in. Kids or over 18 have to move back in with their parents. Parents and their children have to move back in with the grandparents. And they're homeless, but they're living and they're working because they cannot afford to have a home and live
living
expenses.
homeless. That's interesting.
So we have thousands in Topeka, a living homeless community that that are underrepresented, that people haven't thought about, and I do not believe the city of Topeka even recognizes them, or they may not even understand what I'm just saying. But it is a major problem that I have learned in the past couple of years, the working homeless in Topeka. So
I mean, that actually used to be the way of life, and it is in different cultures where
right.
you all live together.
Right.
You don't want it. You want to do it out of choice,
right? Not necessity, and
not necessity.
Yeah, and we're at necessity. So we are at the point right now in the city of Topeka. I deal with hundreds of homeowners every day for years, that they are having to make choices. They're not paying insurance. They have to pay food, or they may have to rent. They're not paying their phone bill, or you know what I mean?
Right.
So they just can't afford to do it. We're at that point right now where almost everybody, I would say 80% of Topeka is upside down in their house.
Well,
and they're going, so here's the city, the county, the library. There's 8 entities that take out of our property taxes. And after I say this, I'm going to go over those 8 entities.
Okay.
So you've got, every time those 8 entities raise our taxes, here's them and here's us.
Right.
Because then you've got food increase, electric increase, water increase, gas to the house increase, gasoline increase. Like I said, I mentioned food. Just everything you buy has gone up. And this is what has happened. And we are right here, and we need some relief, and we need it now. I mean, and I don't think people even understand the urgency of this release. But
so we've got the MTA. Let's list them.
Okay, here, I'll do it. So the state takes property taxes.
Okay.
We got the county.
Right.
We got the city. Okay. We've got the Metro Transit.
Right.
We got the Metro Airport.
Right.
We got the public library.
Right.
We've got Washburn University, and I'm missing one. We'll think about it here in a second, but
it's okay.
But I'm missing one, so I'll when I remember that one, I'll tell you. But those 8 entities,
And if you know what it is, post it up on
Yeah.
our page.
those 8 entities,
We'll pull up a tax thing.
yeah, no problem. Those 8 entities, they all individually raise our taxes. So there's a lot more involved than just the city of Topeka and the Shawnee County. But on my petition, the state law 12-3013, 12-3013
12-3013.
gives the citizens a right to petition the city to make an ordinance, and it'll be good for 10 years if it passes.
Okay, so we could get all the signatures, right?
Well, we need 3,000 certified, but
we're going to get 5.
Well, they recommend we get 4 to 5 to make sure, because there's going to be a lot of mistakes. People move, people die,
right?
People aren't registered, people live outside the city. Just there's all kinds of issues.
So you can go by the barber shop at Fairlawn Plaza.
Yes,
Bruce Williams.
You can come by my office.
Where's your office?
29th and Gage. Just you'll see it right there.
You can come by Henry McClure's office. I'll have one here.
Yep.
And if you want to carry the petition, we'll get a hold of Earl.
We need gatherers, and then if you want to be a gatherer, 10 to 20 signatures is all. I mean, you don't have to kill yourself, but we would like to get. We're probably sitting around 80 gatherers, but we need 200 because if we got.
And there's a rule too. You got to go through Earl to do it right because
I've got to.
There's
rules.
Yeah, there's a true.
You've got to sign an affidavit. You've got to. Only you can take the signatures. And there's other things too. You can register people to vote. I need to explain a lot of rules to everybody. And so please contact me if you'd like to be a gatherer or sign the petition. Either way.
I'm curious, where do you live?
I live at 41st and Stony Brook.
41st
and Wanamaker. 41st.
Okay, so is
Neil Dobler's.
Neil Dobler's your city councilman, and Bill Rapon is your county commissioner. Aaron Mays.
Aaron Mays is mine. Yes.
You ought to run for his seat.
Yeah, I am. I like Aaron personally. I'm not saying he's a bad person. He will not get my vote.
Well, why don't you run for his seat?
No, I'm not. Well, yeah. Am
I mixing this up too much?
I hope somebody runs for his seat. He has done nothing for us.
Well, he's made us wear masks.
Well, yeah.
And he locked us down.
Yeah, and I'm not going to disagree with that. But I want to know that Aaron's a nice man. I like him, but I am not voting for him. We are absolutely being destroyed. Aaron, if you're watching this, we need help. The homeowners need help. We need you to help us. We are being destroyed, and I don't know how to say that more clearly. And you're going to have to step outside your box to accomplish this. And
you can't sit on the fence.
No. It's real world
to see what's popular.
Now, I mean, I don't know about that, and it could be true. I don't follow him as much, but I know he has not done anything to help homeowners of Shawnee County.
Well, so here's my bone of contention. The Topeka Police Department worked very hard to vacate and empty out the Travelers Hotel. Okay? And I asked for some economic development help to tear the Travelers Hotel down.
Mm-hmm.
My owner was willing to do it. And so in the interlocal agreement between the city and county to manage the economic development money, it says for economic development, infrastructure, and quality of life, even though that wasn't on the ballot. The only thing was on the ballot that the voters voted for was economic development. Well, you could say anything's economic development, but not $3.5 million to fund the administration of $5 million.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, so over the last 2 years, they've given $1 million in gifts and grants to people.
So
it's a slush fund.
Right. I want to mention something that's also in our ordinance.
Well, can we just finish one thought real quick?
Oh, you bet. Absolutely.
So I asked, and Aaron didn't vote for it, and it's in his district. And Aaron, as a JEDO member, could have voted to tear down the Travelers because I think it would have been better for the community, and it would move faster if it were shovel ready. Okay.
Oh, well.
So that's my bone of contention with Aaron Mays.
Yeah, you bet.
All he had to do was vote yes.
I understand, and I mean he's commissioner. He's it comes with the job. This criticism of him.
And you
You know what I
can't
mean?
say because it's in the city, and that's if I ever got elected, well, I want to be the advocate of people within the city that can't get stuff done because I sure as heck know that it's tough. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, and I just don't want
I
to
don't want to steal the
confuse.
show.
No, you're not stealing the show. I enjoyed our visit. So we're not dealing with the county. This is just the city. So we were talking about the county, but my petition only deals with the city. So if you are, if
Well,
you,
did you mention the city of Topeka as a taxing authority? Was that the eighth one?
yes,
Okay.
no, I mentioned it. Yeah, they are a taxing authority, a large part of. Oh, and I let you know who I left out, the schools.
501.
Yep, or
Yeah,
437 or
The
Washburn,
school
Siemens.
districts.
Yeah, the school districts because like mine's Washburn Rural, and so I'm just
I'm a
outside.
junior Ichabod.
Your junior
Yes, sir.
Ichabod? Yeah, okay. All three of my kids graduated from Washburn Rural. Very proud of it. It's a good school, and we have all good schools in Topeka. So I want to mention that.
You know McClure School?
Yeah, it was named after a famous person who integrated the schools. Correct?
Yeah, my grandfather.
Your grandfather. Okay.
Hey, he's a good straight man.
All right. Yeah, there's a lot of good history here in Topeka that's happened, done good
Well,
things.
you know, Sam McClure was a Yankee chaplain.
I didn't know that.
He was discharged here after the Civil War.
Oh, okay. Well, and I'm going to mention that because I'm very proud. I'm a sixth generation Kansas. My grandfather's grandfather, William Alexander McIntosh, served in the Civil War and was stationed at Fort Scott. He was in the Home Guard originally, fought in the Battle of Westport, Battle of Blue, Battle of Mine Creek here in Kansas. And so I belong to the Sons of Union Veterans of Topeka. And so
I met a bunch of them down at Julie's coffee shop one day.
yeah, they clean. I haven't been active in a while, but I used to do the memorial service each year for close to 20 years. But
Do you know Tim Ruiz out at the Lecompton, the
no,
historian?
yeah, I don't know him personally,
Yeah,
but
he's a good dude.
yeah, they are good people. And these people that are in these civil organizations, they really do a lot for our community.
Tim brings history to life.
Yeah, he
All right,
does.
let's hear. Let's keep going.
Okay, so in our petition that we want to petition the city, we require the city to explain why they need to raise our property taxes. So not only do we require a public vote, we require them to explain why and to give us hard numbers of why they want to increase.
But they could still vote it down.
They can still vote it down. We're the only time our petition, let's say we pass everything, and I'm going to explain our petition in a second. They can vote down to go above revenue neutral.
Right.
And then if they do, then that would not trigger a public vote under our ordinance that we want to submit. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, so let me start back and we'll go over what we're doing exactly. So we're doing a citywide petition.
Hey, you got to explain it to me
No.
twice because I'm running for
Yeah.
an office.
It's all good. So we want to do we're doing a citywide petition.
Okay.
We're around 1,600 signatures. We
Okay.
need 3,000 certified.
Okay.
We're going from 4,000 to 5,000. Okay. We want to have everything done by the end of June.
Right.
Okay. And we need more gatherers and more signatures
Okay.
on this petition.
So fast forward up to the point where the city council could vote for. So if we win,
let me explain what triggers if we do
okay,
get
okay.
them. So if we get our signatures, we have to turn it into the city clerk. So then the city clerk then in turns, whatever she does with it, then she turns them over to the Shawnee County elections. I think Mr. Howe.
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, good. Yeah, these are good people, and even
Well,
the
yeah.
city clerk, good lady. I like her.
And younger.
Yeah, and she's very nice, very helpful. So she turns it over to the Shawnee County elections. They go literally line by line. They check every single signature, and then if it's good, if it's not, it's thrown out. And so that's
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. But we're passing a law, so they have to do that work. So then, let's say we get certified, then the city of Topeka has, I believe, and I don't have the law in front of me, so I could be off, 20 days to pass it. If they do not pass it within 20 days, then it goes to a public vote, and then we decide the matter of the voters of Topeka on whether they pass our ordinance to require a public vote before they raise our property taxes. And then law is good for 10 years.
Okay.
That's what makes it special.
So we get the signatures, it goes to the ballot.
No, well, the city can pass it.
Okay,
No, it goes first to the city.
if they pass it, it's law.
We're done. It's
If
good
they
to go.
don't pass it, it goes to the ballot.
public vote. That
Okay,
is
I
correct.
get it.
Yep.
I'm slow, but I'm in the race.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, because
But
what do you think the chances of them passing that?
Well, they could also challenge it in court before it even goes anywhere.
Well, and see, and this is what I'm trying to do. I want to create a benchmark. So this creates a benchmark.
Sure.
If one of the council people didn't vote for it and you were for it, we vote them out next time.
Yeah. Now I recommend that too, but I mean, traditionally people don't. But I feel like I'm stunned and I'm shocked. I mean, I say that in all seriousness at the anger people are feeling about their property taxes. They're, so their evaluations go in the past 3 or 4 years have gone up almost $100,000, depending on what house you live in. And then the city or the county will say, "Oh, we didn't raise your taxes," even though their taxes doubled because their valuation increases went up. You know what I mean? So the city, they passed a law. The state did a couple years ago. It says the city and the county have to have a vote on whether they're going to go above revenue neutral at a meeting that's open to the public, and they have to vote at that meeting. So I want to go. The county broke the law last year. You didn't see that in the paper. So right now they have to probably pay back all the property taxes, the increase that they collected. So yeah, it's breaking news. It was like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago that just came out. They broke state law. When they had their public meeting, they were supposed to vote on whether they were going to go above revenue neutral. They didn't vote. They collected the money above revenue neutral, and the complaint was filed. I think Ken Corbett filed a complaint, went and complained, official complaint in writing, and then just a couple weeks ago, the taxing authority board said the Shawnee County was in violation, and a high probability they have to pay us back of the money they went above revenue neutral.
So, would you say that was negligent if you were an officer of the court and you voted for that?
Well, okay, so I
you know what I'm trying to do.
Okay, right. No, I'm with you and I understand, but I want to address that. So everything is so complicated. This is why our property taxes are out of control. No one understands them. Our elected officials have no clue. I'm telling you, none of them know the formula. They just know bits and pieces. They don't understand it. Lawyers don't understand it. They just change the law. Every year the law changes on our property taxes. The formula changes. And so I can see people making a mistake, but I do want to tell you they were informed before they made that mistake that they had to vote on to whether to go above revenue neutral.
And I will admit that I didn't know it in detail like you described it, but I was aware of the problem. And I kind of, it was one of those things where you log it in and you know it's going to work out.
Right. Right. That's the problem with people just log in and work out.
Yeah, but we got the court on our side working it out.
Yes. Well, okay, it was a taxing board. I don't know if it was a per court. It was a board that you could take taxing complaints to.
Yeah, in front of that board.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay. And now I think it could possibly, now the county goes, everybody's saying it's under legal, it's not. They haven't submitted this to a court. The county commissioners can talk about it. They're just hiding behind it. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I get it, because that's what I'm trying to do with the economic development money.
Right.
I'm trying to paint them into a corner, now defend it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how to tell you to do that. I'm learning.
I'm doing it by Braille.
By Braille.
Well, and I'm not, because if you're an officer of the court, you really answer to the Supreme Court.
Sure, absolutely. And that's where it may end up.
Well, so that's what I'm saying is, if you're a lawyer and you're making mistakes in your elected duties,
right?
I think it's worse.
Yeah, well,
lawyers go around thinking they're smarter than everybody.
Okay, now some lawyers do. Not all of them. Yeah, I see you winking there. I have a lot of lawyer friends. But yeah,
Well, my dad had a master's degree from New York. and he first he got his master's degree from New York University, first in Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
and then later on he got his doctorate in tax law.
Okay.
And then it got to the point where Dad couldn't keep up with it.
Right.
And so
Yeah,
my
it's
dad was a
impossible.
smart.
The changes are impossible to keep up. That's why people have just given up, and they've given up. I mean, they literally have given up, and so have our politicians. You know what? I'm not letting the city council off. I like the city council. I want that on record. There's some nice people on there, and I truly believe they care about our community and want to make change. But they're overwhelmed. We become an administrative state. They can't change anything without rocking the boat. That's why this petition is so important. We are doing it, but the people.
Blame it on the people.
Yes.
No, you're right. There's not many bad people. And
Right.
in fact, even if you have it, it's like Sylvia Ortiz.
Yeah, I like Sylvia.
Day to
She's a
day,
nice-
I like her, but I got mad at her for shouting me down in that committee meeting.
Oh, but was it her that shouted you?
Yeah.
Down? Oh, I had no idea.
And I think deep down, if I'd have raised my hand and maybe shut up, which sometimes is tough for me to do, she might have let me talk.
You might reach out to her and say, "Hey, I'd like to come back," or whatever. I would recommend you reach out to
Well,
her
what I want to do,
because I've reached out to her before.
I'm gonna
She's
ask-
really nice.
Spencer Duncan came to a real estate,
Uh-huh.
the board of realtors,
Uh-huh.
and meet the candidates. I was Craig McCullough's his treasurer.
Uh-huh.
Tried to get him elected,
Okay.
and but Spencer just said, "Hey, I want to hear from you. Write up an ordinance." So what I want to do is I want to write an ordinance where you can walk in and you don't really even have to sign up. You could be sitting there, and if something comes up, you can talk about it in a committee meeting.
I can help you with that.
All right.
So I have some experience now writing ordinances, so I'd be happy.
I'm asking for your help.
Yeah, I want to mention Spencer Duncan. So, like I said, I like all the people on there. I know most of the council, but he is really putting himself out there on these property taxes. I believe he is trying to find a way that he can get how many we have 9 council people to get 8 other people on the same all 9 on the same page. You know what I mean? So that's another issue we're having. We've got to get a majority of them to go, but he's working on several different things to help us with our property tax. So I just want to compliment.
Well, I watched him yesterday. I was at the state committee where they were discussing the ad valorem tax.
Right. Oh, I want to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Look at this. We got a team here. But Spencer got up as a lobbyist for the League of Municipalities. And at the state level, he was able to talk. And we should have that in our city council.
Right. And obviously there needs
So
to be,
Spencer, help us out.
there needs to be rules.
Well,
You know what I mean?
we can amend the rules.
Right. Okay.
So see that guy right over there, Clark Duffy?
Yeah.
He was a Marine.
Oh, I had no idea. I remember Clark.
Yeah, good friend of mine.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, Marine.
Yeah, Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. Hoopah.
Yeah. No, it's Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Yep. There you go.
All right.
So the ad valorem tax.
Well, so he was on the committee for economic development back in the day. And I walked into a meeting with him and Gary Price, and you could just talk. And Clark and Gary go, this guy's got a good idea. And because of that committee meeting, College Hill sits there today.
Yeah, that's nice.
Clark Duffy.
Right.
Economic development.
Yep.
We can do it. The humans can do it.
I believe it. Now the ad valorem tax.
Let's talk about
All right.
the money that they're skimming and not giving back.
Okay, now that's what they say. So there's a little bit more into the ad valorem tax. I've spoken with my state senator Dietrich and some Brenda Dietrich, and then some other representatives
I
of the
like
state.
Brenda.
Yeah, she's a very nice.
Superintendent.
She always calls me if I have a question or contact. I don't agree with her on everything, but I mean, if I ever make a phone call, she'll call you back. I mean, she got a lot on her plate. So, but the ad valorem tax, that's been going on for a few years, where the state, for those who don't know, have been building up a reserve fund to give back to the cities and counties to help give property tax relief. Okay, and so it's going to come to a head next year where they have to do something about it in 2025. I don't know if you realize
Why
that.
not now?
Okay, well, There's no, well, here's the reason what I was giving, and I can see this. There's no guarantee when they give that money that the city and the county will use it for property taxes. So they have to.
It just
It's
goes
not
into the
either.
general fund.
Yes, and so you know
They
how
could go buy another hotel.
you know how our politicians are. They like to blame the state that the ad valorem tax. We have all that money for property tax relief, but they would put it into something else. We need it to written in the law that says, that like my. So Aaron Mays, Commissioner Mays is the one that took. We talked about it for a little bit, but we need something in writing that says my commissioners cannot divert the property tax money, what it's currently used for, and cannot divert the money that's going specifically for tax. I would like to see our mill levy drop 20 points because when they get that money from the state, you see what I'm saying? So we could have a lot of relief. But who knows what could happen? They can spend it on anything. That's the problem.
We got to get Rick Clues on that.
Okay.
You know him?
No.
Senator Clues?
Yeah, okay. Is it Klaus or Clues?
Clues.
Okay, Clues. That's right. Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yep.
Hopefully he's running a bill to kick the city out of the 3-mile radius when it comes to planning.
Okay, it's ironic you said that. I had somebody send me information. I mean, I'm hearing from everybody: Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians. I'm a Libertarian. Independents, and they're
I
talking.
think the founding fathers would be more libertarian.
Yes,
I do too.
yeah, and we would not have the problems that we did today if more people were libertarian. That's just my political opinion. But I want to talk to you about the 3-mile radius. So that's a racket. So if you live right outside the city of Topeka,
I like
3
this
miles, you fall under the city's rules and regulations for building or improving your house or other things like that, and that's unfair. People move out of the city to get away from the city.
Right.
You know what I mean? The city, we're paying double the taxes the county is paying.
It's better to get my real estate listings outside the 3-mile radius.
That's right.
And in fact, what I want to start doing, I really just want to start doing land deals. Because then I won't have to go through the government. So I'm a recovery guy, okay?
Right. And so
Have I ever told you about that?
So Spencer Duncan, he's big into that. I saw a statement that he made that said it would cause wreak all kinds of havoc, and that the city and the county are have all this partnership agreements and everything, and it just wouldn't work. And I have to disagree with Spencer on that because you're giving the government too much credit. So you know what I'm saying?
So when we had a planning director that said a bark park was economic development, I snapped.
Yeah.
I just can't deal with stupid.
Yeah, I don't know the situation behind that, but yeah, that makes sense. And see, Spencer works for a lobbying group for the different
the League of
municipalities,
yeah.
Right? And so he has a vested interest. And I said Spencer is a good guy, and I still believe that. But he has a vested interest in keeping this 3-mile buffer zone here, and
for the racket.
For the racket. It is a racket. All government's a racket. Smedley Butler, the second most decorated Marine of all time, the most decorated 2-time Medal of Honor recipient, he said war is a racket. He wrote a whole book about it.
Yeah.
Our government is a racket.
Yeah.
When the
Morgans, weren't they loaning money to the North and the South?
Yes.
Yes.
So
it's a racket. That's what the war in Ukraine is.
So the property taxes is a racket. I don't want to tell you. So they can.
So we really just rent.
Hold on, I'm getting upset now because it's stealing now. The city and the county, you're stealing from the citizens of Topeka. You are absolutely stealing. We cannot pay what you're asking for. We cannot charge you to run our household extra money to pay our bills, right? So the city and the county say, well, we have inflation issues. We need to pay our bills.
Spend the money like it was your own.
Right. We all have to manage our own households. And if our spending is exceeding what we're taking in,
tax?
Nobody. And we have to cut we have to cut what we're spending in order to not spend more than we take in. You know what I mean? But that they don't see it. They don't feel the pain.
See, I hit a trigger with you, and I like that.
Okay.
No, that's good. That's passion.
Sure.
That's passion. And see, that's why I told them the other night, I said, my YouTube channel is getting 2.5 hours of view a day.
Right.
So I don't need to come down and lose my cool at city council anymore.
Right.
Because it's deaf ears. Nobody cares. They don't care.
So I do want to mention, so, I think in August and September, the meetings are coming up for the property taxes. Listen, I encourage you to not only, everybody who's watching this, to pass the word, to not only send an email message to your the council and the county commissioners, but to show up too. So I heard last year there were several council people that said, "Hey, nobody showed up, so we just went ahead and raised the mill levy 1.5 mils or whatever it was that they raised it on top of the valuation increase because nobody showed up." So
public involvement.
So I do want to mention that there were 100-some people that showed up at the county commission meeting, but people can't show up to all these meetings. They have to work. They have 2 jobs. They have kids. They have things. And so, like, showing up to the county before the city kind of wore people out. Do you know what I mean? And then the county thumbed their nose at us. And so they're like, they didn't show up for the city. Does that make sense? The city meeting?
A lot of the people of the younger generation don't know about that.
Right. I know. We need to show up, boots on the ground.
And we need to show up as citizens. And, if the guy ain't voting your way, we got to replace him.
Yes.
The ballot box is where it happens.
Yes, yes, we have to change. We cannot just say somebody's got experience or in there and it's comfortable. You have to step outside the box and vote something different. That's why I'm not voting for Aaron Mays. I don't care who he's running against. I think he's not done a good job for the city of Topeka and Shawnee County. And like I told you, I like the man. He's very nice. I wish him well, but he's not getting my vote. He has destroyed home ownership.
And so I don't know. It's hard to say he's a nice guy if he's destroying home ownership. So if you take politics completely out of it, I'm sure he's a good citizen. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And that's the way we got to look at it.
Right.
It's like like name recognition. Like the other day I was in a district and I said, "Hey, are you guys registered to vote?" No. But we know Akala's coming up in the House. And I mean, that was amazing that here's 2 unregistered voters, but they know John Akala because he's a good guy and he stood up for him. And you know what I like about John Akala the other day? We were at this meeting.
I like John. I worked with him before too. He was, I used to be into gun rights and he's
gun rights. They were saying that I was packing today at the county commission meeting.
Sure. You can go in the Capitol. Now you can't at the city. You have to have they go at metal detectors.
Yeah. Well, so that came up today. I heard that later, but you got to be able to disagree and then walk out and talk to people. Did you see Tucker and that Cuomo guy talking?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Well, I like Tucker Carlson's answer.
It was nice to see him talking.
Yeah, we got to talk.
Yep, I agree.
We got to continue.
They come together.
And that's why I like Tucker.
And they're on different ends of the political spectrum. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I like Tucker talking to Putin.
Yeah, we need to talk. And, let's mention that because I'm here for the petition, but our country, none of our leaders are talking about peace in Ukraine. They're nowhere they say
they're
peace.
Just funding the war machine.
No, and that's what's keeping us afloat. Or because we're trillions of dollars in debt.
And it's going to pull our economy down.
Right. Well, if they stopped, it would go down. And that's my opinion because we're so far in debt. Every 100 days, we go up another $100 trillion. That's the true driver of our inflation. But it's just sad. Nobody's talking peace. We're just talking war. No one is. Both sides, Democrats and Republicans.
Well, and we got to quit being Republicans and Democrats. We really do.
That's why I'm a libertarian. I totally agree with you.
We really do. Well, hey, let's talk more about the petition. We vented.
Yeah. We can solve the world problems.
Let's see. We're getting some comments for some people. See who's looking. Hello, whoever's watching on Facebook. We didn't go live on YouTube. I'll post this up later on YouTube.
Okay. All right.
There is a way to go live, but
Did anybody make any comments? Did you see?
not really.
Okay. They're just watching. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for watching, by the way. We appreciate it. Hey, if you're watching and you haven't signed our petition, please come down.
My office, yeah.
Right. Or my office at 29th and Gage, Earl McIntosh. And
I'm going to get some new signage with Ryan moving upstairs. There's another sign out there that I'm going to renovate. And so I'll have the petition here. This is what I like. We're going to have to engage as citizens if we want it different. Quit blaming.
Yeah.
We gotta quit blaming everybody else.
I'm glad you brought that up. It is our responsibility as citizens to take, and I've got a plan. Do it by petition. So we're building an army of gatherers, petition gatherers. So right now,
how many we got now?
Around 60.
Okay, cool.
But we need 200 or more. I mean, we're just getting 20 to 25 signatures at 60 is not cutting it, really. We need to be at 200, but we're growing every day. So that's a good thing.
Well, and I'm going to use this to walk my district.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a guy running for
county commissioner.
Yeah, District 2.
But if we get 200 people, we can start protesting things and requiring public votes. For example, I believe the county, if they vote to raise our taxes, we can start a protest petition and require a public vote. Is that right? I'm not sure. I need to look in the laws but if we can start protesting.
Hey, Cook, if you're watching, we want an answer.
So we can start doing protest petitions. And my petition requires 25% of the registered voters. Protest petitions are only 10, and some of them are 5%. So they're not as high. But if we have 200 people or more around the county ready to get 25 signatures, we can really take back our government by petition. I mean, we really can.
And we need to.
Yeah, I think that's the only way we're going to do it. Our elected officials can't. They're overwhelmed. Well, they can't make change. We can.
I'm telling you right now, if you want to run for public office, buy your domain. I'll host your site for a year. Okay? My media company will. And you can look at my website. And if you've got some modest changes, if you use mine as a template, right? I'll do it for free.
Okay, that's a nice offer.
Anybody.
You'll probably get some.
Anybody that wants to run for public office. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, running for dog catcher.
Right.
I'll help you. But we need, because I want the spirit of us all working together.
We need good people to run for public office.
Yeah, and we need to work together.
And that's why I mentioned, I think we do have good people in public office and their heart's in the right place. But I think they just get bogged down.
Well, they get beat down.
Bogged down, yeah.
And so it's not popular to say the Greater Topeka Partnership runs the town. It's not popular to say that.
And they could.
I think they do.
Money talks, and you know what I mean? And so
and that chamber is full of good people.
Right.
But anybody that thinks $3.5 million to run Go Topeka is a good idea, you're wrong. And you're wasting our money. And if anybody at the chamber thinks it's a great idea, just fund Go Topeka yourselves.
Right.
Just and we got to create an even playing field. And one of the nicest things that would draw people to our community is low taxes.
Right. Without a doubt. And stable taxes. Because right now they're not only are we high taxes, they're unstable taxes. So they could go every year they'll be 15% higher year after year after year, and that's got to change.
Can I vent one more thing?
Absolutely.
One more thing.
It's your show.
Well, it's your show.
I'm just kidding.
And you can go live anytime.
Okay, thank you.
We ought to come.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you. I'm really, really grateful. We need to get the word out.
Well, I'd like Kevin Cook to sit there.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to him as well.
Yeah, let's get him in here, Kevin. You're invited. I'm in front of Jetto, and thank you, Jim Klossman. Jim Klossman got me a seat to go talk to, or the opportunity to go talk to Jetto. And you know what Jetto is, right?
Yeah, Joint Economic Development
Organization.
Right.
So when I was there asking for money for the hotel, well, we don't have any money. We don't have any money. We don't have any money. And Neil Dobler marched this guy up, and no, we don't have any money. Well, at the very next meeting, they carry forward $5 million. They had $5 million then, but they said they didn't have any money.
No, I mean they hold their cards themselves. The city of Topeka, they cover up money. They have in the county. They have, what does the county have? $30 million in reserve.
And then the very next week, they bought a hotel.
Yeah. Well, and I'd heard,
but
they want to sell it soon.
Well, yeah, but they spent $554,000 on a consultant.
Well, it's easy when you raise property taxes. Where they get their money?
And I'm telling you, it's a $40 million problem. That's what one of the guys on the inside that used to work for the city was saying, that it's $40 million to get it up to par to flip it.
And we're going to end up paying it. They'll raise our property taxes. You know, and then let's talk. I didn't finish the consultant thing. So, you know, the consultants, you know, like with the homeless, I was passionate about that. They spend what they just spent last year, $70,000 on another consultant, and they had like 3 or 4 old consultant files on the bookshelf still from the past 3 or 4 years that they had paid $70,000 each to have. Do you know what I mean?
Oh man, I'm telling you, when I was a member of the Metropolitan Planning Organization,
right,
or the Planning Commission, when it was one, they had this visual preference survey. They did all this studies, and then they don't follow it. And it was all good ideas.
In our homeless situation is so complicated, and we can't. Most people don't. The homeless, they don't want to be. They're off their medication. They don't want to live back in society. And
some
you can't
of them
force
don't.
it. Right.
It's interesting. I went over the other day.
Unless you're the working homeless, but other than that, the regular, like the on the street homeless, is different from the working homeless.
Well, so have you heard of Shelter Plus Care?
Yes.
Okay. So this guy qualified for Shelter Plus Care, and he's 2-3 days in his apartment. He's got a bed and furniture and everything. He sleeps on the floor. He's telling me this. And he's over visiting his friend that's homeless, you know, and they're talking. And it was really an interesting conversation. I went in and did a Henry McClure Live right there with these guys. And really, they're basically saying it's a choice. They're there because they choose to.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah. And he said, I didn't want to put up with the missions, rules, and regulations.
Right.
And, but the guy still doesn't feel, you know, he felt more comfortable on the floor of his apartment.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got a lot of issues, and I applaud anybody who's working on our homeless issue. And I want to reiterate, I hope the homeless, there's certain people on the council that are the working homeless, the ones that had to move back in with grandparents and families. There's thousands of them in Topeka. They need help as well. The working homeless that can't live in a home but have to live with other family members.
Well, so let's support Earl. Let's get this petition filled up, because we, the people, need to take our country back. And for me, I'm not saying I have all the answers. I know about a little bit about real estate, and I've got a little common sense, and yeah, I've got a lot to learn, but I'm definitely not a maven when it comes to running a government. But it's our government, so it should be naturally inside you, right, of what to do. You know, I tell you, I had a nice meeting with our sheriff.
I like our sheriff. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, we really need to make sure that there's more money to give to the sheriff and Topeka Police Department because of what's going on. Some of the people that are just walking into this country, it's going to be worse than real estate taxes.
Oh, without a doubt. It's already here.
Yeah, it's here.
Cities are collapsing all over America. So anyway, thanks
for
having me.
Do you feel better?
Yeah, no, thank you. And
I feel better.
I thank you to the people who are watching this or who will watch this. Please contact us. We really want to get 4,000 to 5,000 signatures to require the city of Topeka to have a public vote before they can raise our property taxes. And at most, we're going to send a message. No one's done this before. If we get 4,000 to 5,000 registered voters, not just anybody on the street, these are registered voters. That's going to send a huge message to the city council of Topeka, and if they ignore it, I feel sorry. It only hurts our town tremendously. You know what I mean?
We're going to have to take our city back. It's not up to. One of the interesting things. If I got elected and was in, I could start doing your work. It's not about anything that I want to do for real estate. It's so everybody can have an even playing field.
Right.
But the number one thing we can do to make Topeka want to live here is to have lower taxes.
Right.
And even if it's to go Topeka and just save the money.
Right. Our future is by petition. We need an army of gatherers, of petition gatherers that we can have our resources to. I think that's really the way we're going to take our city and our county back. I don't see any other way unless we change the elected officials, like elect people like you.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
That's nice. Well, I'll tell you, I would have been on that boat throwing tea overboard.
Sure.
I would have been at that Boston Tea Party.
Sure. Absolutely. You can. We got the Kansas River here, so.
All right. Well, this is good, you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Getting this out in the open. I really don't think we've got good media that covers the hard things. And I'm willing to do it if you've got an article that you want to write. And I think that we really need to do an article on this.
Sure.
And get it out there.
Sure.
My blogs, my YouTube, my Henry McClure Live, I'm getting a lot of coverage. And I want to help you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
And I'm going to carry a petition around, come to my office and sign it, come down and get the petition. We need
gatherers.
We need 140 more gatherers.
Yes, we do.
We need 140 more people that are willing to say,
10,
I want Topeka to run better.
Just 10 to 20 signatures each. Nothing spectacular.
Friends and family.
Right. That's it.
All right.
Yep. Thank you much. Appreciate
Thank you, man.
Yep, you bet.
And thanks for your service to our country.
You bet. I thank you.
All right, Henry McClure Live. Thank you.
Yep. Just wait until.